In this video, I'm going to teach you from all walks of life, even if you're not even saved. This applies to everybody. If you do this, if you're in a habitual cycle of sinning, if you want to break free, if you want to be free, which means that you bring peace into your life and you're free as a bird, you don't have any entanglements in this world. If you want that, if that appeals to you, if you want to be with Jesus, right, connected to the vine, if you want to bear good fruit, if you want to walk in destiny, if you want to follow the Lord, this video is for you. So I'm going to break it down for you as to what matters, what's important, and what's not. It can get confusing for some people. I'm going to make it simple. Number one, I want to pose to you the question, are you hungry and are you a fighter? So many people are good at rebelling by nature. You're going to have to learn how to rebel towards the negative things, the bad things. Use that same thing that we all have inside of us to rebel against authority, but rebel against the devil, the enemy, the accuser of the brethren, the one that attacks you in your mind to do the things you ought not to do. You're going to need that rebellion. Don't chuck it, use it, but use it against the enemy. And do that with everything that you have gained in your life. Use it for God and against the devil. Okay? All your skills, everything. A lot of the things that I learned in the world, being street smart and this and that, now, like, it gets me out of trouble. I don't use it to profit myself, but I use it now in a different type of way. I can spot a wolf in sheep clothing. I can spot, like, it benefits me. It blesses me now. So, everything that you've done, it will, one way or another, act like a stepping stone to rise higher. But you have to use it for the good, for Jesus Christ. Now, let's begin with the video. Where should I begin? So, let's start here. You have to have this fight inside of you, because what's being prepared to do, what you're going to be prepared to do when you take on this voyage is that you're going to have to fight for your place with God. What does that mean? The devil wants to bring you off course, pull you out, tell you you can't do it, tell you you're not really a child of God. You're going to have to, the Bible says, you know, put on the armor of God, put on the helmet of salvation, the shield of faith, the belt of the truth, the boots of peace, the breastplate of righteousness, the sword of the word. It's part of this walk. My son yesterday, I'm going to use this as an illustration to help you. My son yesterday got jealous of his younger brother because his younger brother got something that he wanted, and he got really upset. And so they're very young, right? These are kids. So then when he leaves, and then he's got all this emotion. And this is how a lot of people operate in today's day and age. He's got all this emotion. He feels bothered, he feels heated, he feels mad and sad, a range of emotions. This is usually when the devil steps in and tells them to do something with that emotion that's destructive in nature. And sure enough, he did it with my son yesterday. So yesterday I was in bed, I was sleeping, and then I hear the commotion between, you know, siblings, and his brother, and this and that. Well, I settle the commotion. I come out of my sleep. I say, hey, stop this, that, stop that. Go back to sleep. And then I see a vision of my older son. And there's a spirit that wants to cut him. And what that means is that it acts like it's you. The spirit acts like it's you. This is what they refer to as mental illness. So it talks like it's you in your mind and says, I just want to kill myself. I just want to cut myself. I just want to die. That's what the spirit's saying in your mind, right? And this is why identity is so important for a person to root themselves in the truth so that they don't fall for the lies. I've dealt with all of this in the past, by the way. So I know these spirits, and I know that they're spirits because they've been casted out of me. And then I don't think like that on my own. That's how I know this stuff. So then that's going on with my son. I see that it's almost like a prophetic image that was shown to me. And I close my eyes. I intend to go back to sleep, but it's bothering me. So a short amount of time later, I get up and I go and comfort him. I let him know, not to be upset anymore and this and that. And so then I go back to the bed, and like 5 or 10 minutes later, he comes into the room crying. And then he says to his mom and me, he says, the devil wants me to do something really stupid. And he's crying. And then it's crazy because he said, the devil wants me to cut myself. And that's what the prophetic image that I saw. So these things attack, right? And I use that as a way for him to understand his identity and how the devil attacks. I just had a buddy like check out before his time on overdose. So the devil, he plays this up here, and he just bombards it with a lot of chaos and destruction, negativity, and just makes it really. But if we navigate it, how many videos have I made about this? If we navigate this, we can think on purpose about things above. We can see what we're thinking about, and we decide whether we entertain it or not. We decide whether we keep that thought or not. And everything leads to a destination. Our thoughts lead to a destination. So if we entertain it long enough, your feet are going to be headed in that direction in real time. So made videos like these. So basically, if you're thinking pornographic thoughts up here, what's going to happen next? It's just a matter of time. And that goes with everything else, right? So this is so important to guard and to guide and to protect and to help it as much as you can. Tell yourself beautiful things about yourself and beautiful things about other people, and navigate this and tell it what you want it to believe and what you want it to do, because it's been programmed your whole existence by TV and music and culture to think negatively by nature. You got to reprogram it. So that's what renewing the mind is all about. Except that we renew our mind with what the Bible says, what God says in the Bible. Hopefully you're getting something out of this video. So everybody's going through life and they're being bombarded with obstacles and situations on a day-to-day basis. And that's everybody. But how this is up here will help you either overcome or make you feel like everything's on top of you, right? I'm a firm believer that less is more. I don't have so much on my plate that makes me, and what I mean by that, I don't have so much entanglements to the world that I can't process what's right in front of me when it's time to do it. I used to be a person that used to be out doing stupid stuff, drugs, and then I had to go to work that very next day. And you know what? That's stuff on my plate it's one thing is conflicting with the other. And I was too blind to see it. I was too dumb to process, hey, this is not beneficial to my job, to me, to my future. And so in this walk, we're gonna have to give up a lot of baggage if we want to make it to our destination. We're gonna have to give up baggage, and the baggage, trust me, it's not as valuable as it comes off. That's warfare in and of itself. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, it matters too much, and this and that. Not really. Not when you decide. When you decide to stop it, from there on, you find out, it really wasn't that hard. You know, just a couple of days later, it starts to dawn on you. Hey, I've gone a few days. I don't really care for it. But the warfare will tell you that it's impossible. So you got to peep game. I feel like I have to do like a series on this because there's so much to go, so many angles to look at this, talk about every subject. But without going too long with the video, in a lot of ways, I haven't even started because there's so much to talk about. But you know, we're talking about like mental illness right now. We're talking about a mind that is not, it's against yourself. A mind that is against yourself is one that needs to be renewed, and I'm a big firm believer in renouncing sin, because when you renounce sin, you close the door on it. So when you say, I renounce to cigarettes and alcohol and drugs, and I renounce to fornication and adultery, and I renounce to pornography, and it's a good big step forward. Because at that point, you're telling your mind, your heart, your members, as well as God, the devil, and everybody, this is my heart's desire. I want to close the door on this. That's step one. Step two, you can do a fast to break its hold off of you. You can do self-deliverance. I've made videos on how to do self-deliverance. You can go to a church and get delivered from these strongholds, right? Very important that you get delivered, because a lot of these things play a role in our lives, and as long as they're there, they kind of have influence. You can get baptized, leave everything in the water, and have a reset to a brand new life all over again. You can turn the page by making a declaration, a vow to God. You can pray for assistance. There's so many ways to go about it, but remember, we started this video off with the question that, are you willing and are you ready to fight? Because it will be a fight, and you have to have that fight in you. And what fight am I talking about? The same fight that you fight when you want what you want. It's the same. I want Burger King. Okay, no, you can't have it. No, I'm gonna get Burger King. And you look for ways to getting it, right? And you don't give up. And you call one person, they say, no, I can't. The other person doesn't pick up. But you don't give up. You know, eventually you're knocking on a neighbor's door, you're saying, you know, I'm so sorry, you know, to ask you for this, but can you take me to Burger King? You know, and it's like, wow, man. Talk about perseverance, talk about like overcoming, and that's it takes that type of mentality and that spirit and that hunger to when the devil tells you you can't do it, you say, oh, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? You need that, because the devil's gonna tell you a lot of the way. He's gonna tell you you can't do that. That's impossible. You'll never make it. You're not really. You know, all this stuff. And you're gonna need that, right? That rebellion, but against him. And then also that perseverance to look for a way, right? Because a lot of this walk is by faith. You have to believe. Let's end it there, because I know a lot of people won't get this far. But if you like it, tell me to make a part 2. I'll make a part 2. And there's more parts than 2, you know, because if I'm really going to go on this subject, it's going to be more than part 2. But we'll get through it. We'll get to it.